Very welcome to everybody that's on stream with us. Thank you guys for your patience. Uh, we've had to do a couple of restarts and fixes and all kinds of things again this morning. It seems every couple of days the way that you stream changes, and if you don't test it beforehand, like I don't, and it kind of bites you. So anyway, we are currently looking at Coola. Um, with snow textures. So what I want to do is I just want to switch over in SAM and go full on snow, winter, deep winter. All right, so this is not a Zebo flight, by the way, in case you did miss that. We're going to fly the Quest Kodiak from a place called Woodcock in Canada somewhere, and then we need to deliver a couple of passengers to this airport. So I wanted to start here just to make sure that the weather is okay, that we will actually be able to come and land here, because in the last couple of days the weather was not really conducive to those kind of things, to fly in here. Good morning, Kobe. Yeah, happy holidays to you too. Hope you've got a couple of days off between Christmas and New Year. I'm actually on standby, and I know there's a lot of work that I'm gonna have to do anyway, so we'll fit it all in somewhere. All right, that looks better. Now we've got a Christmassy winter feeling.
I like that.
Very nice, very nice. I'm glad these guys included proper winter textures and stuff into this airport. Sparta. Um, I tell you what, I am surprised about. Obviously, that will probably, well, I'm saying obviously, in my mind it's obvious, but I'm not sure if Orbex actually are going to do it. But if you look at the Orbex airports in snowy areas, the only one I know of that's got winter textures is Stewart. And I was looking at Lowy, Innsbruck yesterday, and there's no snow. So you've got the beautiful snow in this summer patch in the middle. And same goes for a couple of other I had a look at. Just no snow textures. I hope they come to the party. I hope they bless us with something like that. Right, so I need to go now to this other airport. Start the flight there with the Kodiak. So what did they call it? Let's go look at the other name for this place. CYQ8.
Please make sure the heaters are working. Freeze like hell up there,
Oh,
else.
yeah, for sure, for sure. CBQ8. Okay, CBQ8. CBQ. That's the one. Right, now the silly thing is either this is the correct airport or it's not. So let's go BQ8. Let's just try BQ8. BQ8. Because tell you why. Yeah, I think this is the correct one. This is the correct one. FS Economy still subscribe to the old 2002 database for ICAO naming conventions. And I'm not sure if they've changed their mind, but in the past they've been adamant we shall not change. We will not, adamantly, we will not change. So some guys came along and they made additional airports and different naming conventions and things. So it's all loaded in my sim now. It's okay to try and find it, but it still is confusing, and we just have to make best we can. Greetings from Vancouver, British Columbia. Yes, yes, I am in your neck of the woods. I love that area. I love British Columbia. I love that whole Pacific, northwest kind of an area. It's lovely. Looks like we've got some snow. By the way, Uncle John, I removed that extra icing script, that Lua script completely. That was just driving me nuts. This aircraft is not equipped with any advanced icing stuff for the leading edge or any protection other than a pitot heat. So to fly with this thing and that script is crazy. They don't go together. Absolutely not. I've actually enabled the SAM winter season, deep winter season. So that's why I explain has got a nice winter coat on it. Right, and what you guys see on screen, those are the passengers that we need to carry to Balakula. 7 of them. And that's how we make our money and earn our keep in FS economy. I'm not flying real time, by the way, if you guys were wondering, because it's like middle of the night kind of a thing there. It's going to be pitch dark black. All right, so there's a couple of things that I need to set up beforehand. Make sure that everything is in place. Inset, I just want to declutter. I want to see the terrain. You see. Yeah, no point in flying in the dark when we are in the mountains and we want to have a look around, see what it looks like. So, right, and we set 10,500 on the cruise level. Then 5. Let's have a look, see what the weather is doing in this place. Right, not much wind, variable at 2 knots, so we can go anywhere. QNH 2991. Well, we can't get it to 991. I forgot in this aircraft, so that's best we can do. Right, so we've got the altitude. Alright, then what we're going to have to do is load this flight plan. I wonder why. Contains an invalid departure airport. Oh. Okay, let's change it. Then export again. There we go. Now it's taken it.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I've managed to find another control button on this laptop, so I've
Okay.
transferred it to there.
Okay. Right. Probably waiting for us to start up, so we'll do that.
Would I be correct in saying it's actually snowing?
It is, Uncle Tony. Yeah, you're 100% correct. High start. That's off. That's off. So only got to do, there we go, and ignition. There we go. JJ, welcome, and Sentinel, welcome. Okay, let's see if this aircraft will be kind to us today or kill us again. Yeah.
Those ground textures don't look right, do they?
Why?
Talk about see if you're hammering along.
Yeah, those snowdrift textures really messed about with my eyes. I didn't like them. It was difficult to keep straight on that runway, but for the rest, it looks okay. Just want to clear these mountains, then we can go on course. There's no point in dying so early in this flight. I hope that one day these guys are going to upgrade this aircraft to actually incorporate some anti-icing features. That'll be so cool.
But does it actually have any?
In the real world, I don't know, to be quite honest. Just as I said it, I thought the same McDrawing. I don't know.
It's quite likely it hasn't, because if you're gonna do it, you've got to do engine anti-ice, you've got to do wing anti-ice,
Mm,
and that's all payload.
yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll do some investigating at some point.
It may have, if you've got a ski variation variant, maybe you would invest in some leading edge de-icing. trouble is with de-icing, where do you stop? Prop, engine, wing,
Well, those are the
tailplane?
those, yeah. The first three are the most important ones. Even if they just put some little holes here in the airfoil where you can trickle the fluid out, it will already help. Like in the Cirrus SR22, you just open the valve and then those fluid just runs along the
Yeah, I
vent.
gotta say, I would expect it would be a little fluid one on the wings,
Yeah.
but the engine and prop is the main one. Mind you, if you can afford those fancy navigation bits and pieces, you can probably afford the anti-ice.
Yeah, probably.
Mind you, you say that, but the windscreen, there's no anti-ice for the windscreen, not even a patch one that, is just a small.
Well, what you do have is you've got the air conditioner, right? And just like in your car, you can switch the aircon on and you can manipulate your temperature inside. There's one for the window. So you've got some other heater in the window.
Yeah. Have you seen the ones where they have a small square that's heated just as an emergency
I've seen them.
windscreen?
Mm. Okay. I was typing so lovely on the other side, I never realized I went straight through my actual course. Stand back quickly. Then we can go on to the GPS navigation. Yesterday I was at Porto and it was raining and it looked weird. The cloud cover was horrible. There was not enough cloud in my mind to cause the rain that I was experiencing there. But today the cloud cover looks normal again. I wonder if there was just a glitch in the SkyMax Pro. I mean, the clouds look much better today.
Well, it's a paying customer. I'm not very impressed with the heating in this bloody thing. My feet are frozen.
Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'll lift it up a little bit for you. There's 26 degrees for me and 26 for you. Alright, so there's 3 degrees extra, Uncle John. Ah, well,
Thank you. I need it. My feet are frozen in the back here.
shame, man. Well, I'll send your blonde over to you just in a short while, okay? If it
Ah,
doesn't
bless
help.
you.
If it doesn't help
Yes,
later.
she can suck my toes.
No. Horrible. No, she must just sit on them. Sit on your feet.
You really should go to these places suitably attired. This is not flip-flop weather.
Oh, absolutely. Right. While we are now waiting on this cruise to happen, because this is going to take a wee while. After this flight, I'm thinking of doing a Zibo. I want to fly from Palma de Mallorca to Barcelona. And then I'm thinking of doing another one of those old style ones with a 300 McTriangle. When are you going to be back? Because you said you're leaving, you're going to be out.
Oh, I shan't be back until sort of like 17 or 18, 1900 Zulu.
Oh, okay. All right, all right. Well,
Day
we'll
out, family day out.
got it, got it. Okay, well, I will enjoy it on your behalf then. And I'm actually thinking if I've still got some strength and energy left, I might do a little Airbus in there at the end as well. But I just want to fly a little bit today just
What,
to have
you're
some fun.
gonna spoil it?
Nah, I'll take the 300. We'll do it in style. I haven't flown the 300 with an Airbus in months, many months.
I must admit, at the moment, when you consider the drama that's going on, Airbus are on quite a smooth ride at the moment.
Yeah. Ugh, not much to see here. Crazy.
My thoughts as well.
Ah, 5. Maybe let's climb a little bit more. See if we can get out from the mess here. 14.5. Why not? Let's climb. Yes, I haven't tried that yet. Let's see. I think what I want to do just for some background information is I'd like to just stick around Coola for a while, see how many jobs I can get from this place. Because I've kind of gotten bored with Genoa, so this might be a nice alternative for FS in FS economy.
I assume you've looked at the weather to see what the cloud base is.
Well, we started the flight at Coola, and if I look at my active sky and what we saw when we were there earlier, there's no clouds at Coola at all. It's all around it, but not at the airport itself and in that valley. So I'm very, very confident we're going to have a nice approach and landing.
Yeah, but what's the ceiling at the moment?
At this place where we are flying, let's have a look, see if we can see. Lock to the aircraft.
No, en route.
I'm trying to find out for you. Just give me a second, Uncle John. Briefing. Why are you not showing a briefing? Current conditions at aircraft. Okay, let's have a look. See here. Cloud base is approximately 712 feet above ground.
And the ceiling?
I'm looking for that now. Yeah, this thing changes so much, it doesn't give me a chance to pull down. If I go down on the slider, it just pull it back up. I can't see the ceiling. It doesn't allow me to stay there long enough to read it. Come on, man. Why would they do that? Uncle John, let me see if his or little nav map can actually tell me, because this active sky is jumping up.
Okay.
Environment. Let's see. Vision, stability. Speed, altitude. Next waypoint. Don't give me a ceiling at all. Let's take the closest airport. Let's just look at its information, because they should tell us more. Procedures, nearest weather. Uncle John?
Is that? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
say, tell me.
Is that the sun breaking through our sea?
Yes. So I'll have to do a PIREP. It doesn't appear as if anybody is given a PIREP on the ceiling. We've basically just broken cloud. So the ceiling is about 14,000, maybe just below 14, but it's approximately 14,000.
Thank you.
We are currently at 14,500. Let's just see. Local QNH. Altimeter. We get that back. 2991, still the same. Good morning, Bob. Yeah, I'm sure the scenery must be. I mean, that looks like God's country over there when I just look at the simulation, and I've watched some videos and stuff. That the whole area fascinates me. This whole Pacific western side going up to Canada and Alaska, and you know, it looks awesome. If I could immigrate, I'd love to go to up British Columbia somewhere. That's one of the options, one of the things I'd love to investigate.
Back in a mo, I'm going to go and get respectable.
Okay, enjoy, Uncle John. I will definitely do that. Thank you for the invitation. Hey, Carl. I'm glad you like it. I just thought I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. Not just Zibo. We're going to do a bit of GA now for FS Economy. Then we'll take the Zibo. We need to do that. Can't leave it behind. And then we're going to take the IXEG 737-300 as well. And afterwards, we're going to possibly, we'll still see, maybe take the Airbus A330 for a spin. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Right, so guys, I've been thinking a bit. I really went into the Christmas holiday slash idea of while I've got a bit of time, and I obviously didn't know how much work I was going to get in between, but I was thinking of doing a little bit of tutorials as such. Uh, I'm not sure if it's going to come to fruition because of my normal everyday work, but while we are sitting here, if there's anything you want me to talk about or show you, we can go through those kind of things anyway as mini tutorials, just a discussion, really, not really a tutorial. And then when I get time, I'll make proper videos. But there is one thing that I have pressing on my mind, in fact, now for a couple of weeks, and that's just basic explain management. And what I mean by explain basic management is I'm talking about how do you enable, disable, and manage your sceneries and your plugins and stuff. Have you guys got any use for me showing you how I manage my explain? Would that be something that would interest you? I'm not sure if that's going to have any effect on the intensity of the shadow in the aircraft, but I'm just trying. It's strange that it's so dark in here. Weird. I thought I put the sunglasses on and then I realized I did not. Okay, Carl. Yeah, I also use X Organizer, and that is exactly what I was thinking of, just showing you how I use it. I'm by no means an absolute expert in the program, and there are one or two pages that is either not fully functioning or it still baffles my mind. But I mean, yeah, it's a good little tool, and if you understand how it works, it really makes life much easier for you. All right. Well, the ping ping you heard was ex-organizer telling me that I can't run it while X-Plane is running. So when the stream is done, we can quickly. Um, all right. When the stream is done, Dimitri, we can quickly start up X-Organizer and we can spend a couple of minutes on that quickly because I think for a lot of guys it's going to be very beneficial. I've watched a couple of people do tutorials on how they manage the X-Plane. Um, but it always seems to be a manual thing, whereas with X Organizer, it's all basically automatic after a certain point. So, okay, cool, that's a deal. When we land, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes quickly on it. I just need to close Explain so we can access all the necessary scenery files and stuff. I don't get why it is so dark in this aircraft. I apologize, guys. I wasn't there the whole time, so that's why I thought I maybe switched on something, but I didn't, clearly didn't. Dimitri, okay, let me start from the beginning. I'm very used to Xvision and the Vivid preset and all its little Lua scripts. All right. I used it up until about 2 weeks ago. McTryan gave me a flight into Iceland, and while I was flying, it dawned on me that somewhere in the back of my mind, I have an add-on that allows your landing lights to reflect against the clouds. And after a few minutes of quick thought, I realized it was SkyMax Pro that gave that ability. So since then, and including in this flight, this is SkyMax Pro that's running here. All right, my previous computer was just too small. It just couldn't handle it. It was killing me. So for many years, it's also been just gathering dust, the white elephant here on the hard drive in a little corner somewhere. But for the last 2 weeks, I'm flying with SkyMax Pro. And this is what you can see over here. Now we're back in the clouds again. So my thoughts are as follows. It's good to a point. I miss the display characteristics of Xvision and the Vivid preset. I miss the fact that I've grown so used to it. It just worked very well. So what I used to do is I would install Xvision, I would load the preset, then I would go to Active Sky, and then I would use the Active Sky Performance Clouds and install it on top of Xvision. In other words, if you just run the Vivid preset, it messes up your clouds. It obviously wants to use its own version of clouds, which I didn't like. So it's always been a combination for me, and I still prefer that at this point in time. Maybe this will grow on me. You know, I'm trying my best to love it. I'm trying my best to evaluate it. We'll see. We'll see where we go to. But when I load Xvision with the Vivid preset and then the Active Sky Clouds on top, that's still my favorite. That's the normal go-to that I have. On my second copy of X-Plane, the one where I do the beta testing and stuff, I actually installed FS Enhancer for the first time in a couple of months again. And I must say that also, together with the NOAA weather plugin, instead of using Active Sky, really looks good again. It's better than it was in the previous model or two. So I'm constantly tinkering and playing and so on, but of all of them, Xvision with a Vivid preset and Active Sky Clouds, the Performance Clouds, is still my favorite.
Back in the room.
Hello, Uncle John. Welcome back. We have 34 minutes left until we land, so still a little way to go. I think what I'm gonna do is I'll probably go down that valley there, that go over that river, turn left in, and then go via the valley into the mountains. Just thinking out loud about it. We'll see when we get there. Yes, Dimitri. Xvision plus the preset at the bottom, let it do its thing. It obviously changes your shaders and do whatever it needs to do. Once that is done, I go to Active Sky and I load the Active Sky Performance Clouds, because those textures are much better than some of the others I've seen, especially in the Vivid preset. The Vivid preset is very good for everything else, and it's stunning with water, but I don't like the clouds. So then I just go and load the Performance Clouds on top after I'm finished with the whole installation of the Xvision. Okay, and if anybody laughs now, I'm gonna be very upset with myself. I'm wondering if that's not the problem. We're busy getting hypoxia because I didn't put the oxygen on. Let's see if that fixes it. Oops. Seems like it's fixing it. I better remember we've got oxygen in this little baby. I'm trying.
I'm listening.
Did you see what I did wrong? I was wondering why everything is getting so dark. I forgot to switch on the oxygen in this aircraft. There, it's already clearing
I
up.
heard, but I thought I'd take pity on you as it's Chris.
Nah, it's just one of those silly little mistakes.
Wonder why I was going in Lululand.
Well,
What do you mean?
he was
Why are you trying to blame the oxygen for that?
well. He just doesn't know that we just wanted to give him a comfortable ride. Put him out of the fear for the terrain and the weather. We wanted him to sleep a bit, but he's too clever for us. Aye, Uncle John, I just wanted you to be comfortable. Sorry, man. That's cool. That is cool.
My breakfast has just arrived.
Well, enjoy.
Are you still away then, John? Are you being spoiled?
Yeah, I'm being spoilt.
Yeah, Carl is correct. It's a 3-second job, literally. You click in it, you select. I don't even think you have to select it. I think by default it's on performance clouds. You just click next and it's done. 3 seconds, chup chup, and it's done. And it makes a big difference. Big difference. It's also very good for frame rates. Yeah, I prefer never to let X-Plane run while I do things like that, but I get it. Yeah, that is the correct procedure. If you're going to change, Dimitri, just remember to change the Lua scripts as well, because there's usually a Lua script associated with those clouds. Don't let them fight with each other. So get it right by disabling what you need to disable as well. Yeah, thought so. Absolutely. Good advice. McTrying, I didn't actually think the oxygen was going to be modeled in this way, but I must say I'm impressed actually. I've
What
never seen this.
altitude are you at?
Hmm?
What altitude are you at?
14.5.
How quickly did it come on?
No, it was over a period of 10, 15 minutes that I saw it was creeping, creeping, creeping. It was just getting darker and darker. And then I started thinking, but what? I'm,
That's that's pretty realistic then,
yeah,
because at least it isn't just all of a sudden
yes,
switch when
yeah,
you reach certain altitude.
exactly, exactly.
I forget now what the limits are.
Uh,
America and Europe are different.
yeah, it's different. In South Africa, what the guys say is above 10.5, you need to start using oxygen. I'm not sure what the law says, but I don't think the guys fly higher than 10.5 without oxygen. I've personally flown 10.5 for about an hour odd, no problem.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a limit for 15 minutes and a limit for 30
yeah,
minutes or whatever.
yeah. That's correct call. Yeah, you've got to be careful. But no, I like what I saw. The whole process was actually brilliant. It was very, very good.
Yes, Carl, that's what I thought. But there's a limit where, is it 12,000 you can go to for 30 minutes or?
Uh, yeah, there's like a sliding scale. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen it, but um, I
It's so
don't know
you
it off
can
the top.
climb over a little bit of cloud or just over a hill.
Yeah. You remind me of the high altitude operations we did. Um, if your airport is above 10,000 feet, you're not even allowed to press a button in that cockpit without being on oxygen. All the pre-flight, everything is done on oxygen. Because if you make a mistake there, you're dead. So that was an interesting thing to learn. Man, these clouds are thick and high. I don't want to climb again. The next step is going to be to go down now. Um, I can see the mountains there below us, so we also can't really go down right now, but the next step will be to descend anyway. McTrying calls giving you a whole story there now, eh?
He's copying. You copying that out of the book, are you, Carl?
That's very informative. Thank you, Cole.
Is this FAA rules or European rules?
That's FAA then. Much appreciated, Cole. That's a nice lesson for us today. See, he's a CFI, McTrying. Uncle John?
You speak?
Yeah, I said, you see, Cole is a CFI.
Ah, no, I didn't.
Yeah, he says
I,
there. He
I'm
says,
on I'm on full screen, you see.
okay. Well, the text, I fixed the text. I didn't realize the text was going off screen, so I fixed it for you. You should see it come up there. It says there is a CFI, certified flight instructor, etc.
Okay.
Well, the cloud cover looks a little bit better now. You're a fortunate man, Cole. That's always been my dream to have both those licenses as well. Never got around to actually learn the choppers, but one day, one day. Oh yeah, very fortunate. Let's see how far are we. Yeah, that sounds amazing, Cole. One of the fortunate guys then. I tried to get into this whole flying aviation thing, and then one day I had to make a choice for family or flying, and the family won. So I'm not sad about that part of the story, but the aviation bug is alive and well in me, and that's why I do what I do on the sim. I can remember those days. I remember flying my first simulator, and the um, earth was green and the sky was blue, and sometimes you had brown patches for the earth, but those were the two colors. You just had to make do with it. Oh, yes. Oh, I flew mixed field so many times. Yeah, those were the days. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed it, the explain kind of froze for a couple of seconds there. I'm not sure if it's the real world or the real weather connector that you get with SkyMax, but something freezes the explain every time there's a weather update. So I can just imagine it's something with that.
With that many clouds, does it rewrite the whole lot? Does it
No,
have to dump and reload the vehicle?
McTrying apparently not. The whole idea of the real world weather connector or the real weather connector, whatever the correct name of this thing is it doesn't change the clouds in your area. It changes the cloud in the next weather area. Okay. There's actually a setting where you can switch that facility on and off. So mine is set not to change my clouds in my area. So it's like it's preloading the next area, and that's what we wait for. That's my understanding of it in my limited knowledge.
Okay. Does that mean that does it extend the loading distance or
I don't think so. Well, let me rather put it this way. I think it extends the loading distance, but not the display distance. It will only show you that which it's downloaded already once you get there, if that makes sense.
okay? Yeah.
Call, I
I was
agree.
wondering
Yeah.
what your VRAM load is at the moment.
Let's have a look see quickly. You can actually see it in SkyMax Pro. 306 megabyte of video, and there's 5.8 gig of system. Sorry, yeah, I have 392 megabyte of video and 5.8 gig of system RAM free. So I've got a 4 gig card, so it's almost using all of my 4 gig in my VRAM, if I read it correctly, because it shows you what's free.
Yeah. As I said, it's pushing the limits. It's having to
Yeah.
kick it in and out. So,
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've noticed lately is Firefox and Chrome are eating up RAM like nobody's business. Maybe I must just close them. Hold on.
yeah, they've changed how Chrome's working. They've done some things to try and save memory, but I think Chrome's been pushed because Edge is going to Chrome,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. So I've closed my Firefox. Let's see. You see there, 200 megabytes just by closing Firefox. I've gained.
Wow, nice setup, Carl.
Yeah, Explain does things like that. It grabs what it can. It really wants a lot. Okay, 3014 is the new QNH.
I won't ask what mesh and ortho and that you're running in.
Oh, you might as well kill some time. Ask away. Call, you correct, and I think that is one of the things that Vulcan is apparently supposed to fix, or part of it. So we're hoping.
I don't think it's going to actually make it run more efficiently. It's just it's going to use more core.
Well, isn't that going to make it run more efficiently if it uses more cores? Because if you've got one core doing all the work, that's not efficient in my books. Whereas if you've got multiple cores, that is more efficient, is it not? Am I understanding efficiency incorrectly?
Mm, Well, it's inefficient software at its best. I mean, Zebo's got round the problem by dumping Xlua.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for you. How many guys on stream now, including you guys on Discord, how many of you have tried using Process Lasso to actually get explained to run on more cores?
It doesn't effectively run on more cores. It just means you can more control which cores it can access.
Because I tell you what, on my previous i7-3770K that was almost 10 years old, that was the only way I could effectively run explain was with Process Lasso.
It was very popular again about, what, 18 months ago? 2
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah, yeah.
But effectively, all it meant was you could dump every process off one core.
Yeah, you can streamline it. You can say active sky runs on that core, explain on these following cores. You give it a list,
Exactly, yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
streamlining it. Um,
You can do it in Windows 10, but the unfortunate part about it is it doesn't save it from one boot sequence to another.
and that's why I used the Process Lasso because I bought it, so I could set up profiles. So I had one for P3D and I had one for explain. And then you just get
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
in that you needed. That's correct. Yeah, it's about setting the affinity, which scores that you want to use. So anyway, now I was just wondering while we're talking about it because that on my old rig was the only way I could get the stuff to work properly. And on my old
Mind you,
system, sorry.
could you imagine with the latest 1080 chips or whatever it is,
Mm,
when you've got like 30 odd channels or cores to play?
I wouldn't. You know what? Even on this rig, this is a i7-770K. Even on this one, I don't overclock it. I see no need for it. I see no need to run lasso. With my limited resources, look, I'm still being, I'm still able to enjoy myself. Once I really, really run out of resources, we're busy in the process of trying to source a new VGA card. So I'm looking at the 2080 now. But that's going
I
to
still
alleviate.
say wait until the 380 comes out.
Well,
You're so close now,
mm,
and with the cost that they're predicting for the 3080 being no more than current 2080s, to me it doesn't make sense to invest that amount of money in what is now old technology.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's my PC spec, guys.
Don't get me wrong, I can understand you wanting an intermediate upgrade, but I certainly wouldn't go for a 2080 Ti.
No, I'm not going for a TI at all. McTrying, what we
I
said is,
wouldn't even go for the 2080.
well,
2070 is adequate.
yeah, I'll have to shop around, look around still. I don't want to discuss the stuff you know I've spoken about behind the scenes here on the stream, but you know where I'm at with the hardware
Yeah.
and the
Oh, yeah,
limitations.
yeah.
So
The
we'll get there.
VRAM of the 2080 is disappointing,
Mm.
and it's not worth. I don't think it's worth it.
I'll hold back a bit. I'll hold back. I don't think I've got a choice at this point in time, but to hold back a little bit because it's 6 months and then we're out of the woods.
Flipping heck, Carl. That is some monster you're.
Yeah. Wow. Dimitri, yeah, that is exactly what me and McDrying are saying because of the technology changes. Once the 3080 comes around, it's going to be a totally different ball game completely.
A brief summary of the 3080. The chip is going from 12 nano down to 7, which means that heat-wise it should be more efficient. It's projected it will have more VRAM, and it's not going to cost any more than the current 2080 Ti. That's what they're saying. We haven't seen samples for testing yet, but it's predicted that it will be either the second or third quarter of next year. Possibly the second end of the second quarter.
Oh, that's amazing call. That's good to know. I'm just turning around a little bit or going sideways, in fact, not really turning around. I need to get into the valley to start my descent and be able to maneuver down there. Rooster, sorry, who are you asking? Are you asking me or are you asking the guys in the conversation now? Just please clarify that. Oh, me. Okay. Well, this is Explain 11. I'm on 11.41, the latest stable version, and I'm running SkyMax Pro for the environment at this point in time. This is the Quest Kodiak from Thuranda, and we're flying an FSE flight. So, depending on what flight I do, I would then enable or disable certain features or not. And I've also got a second copy of Explain that's completely configured differently to this one. So it all depends on when you ask and so on. But what I would suggest is look in the description below the video. There's a link to my private hangar, my OneDrive. Go in there. There's a PDF under Explain 11. It will show you all the software that I currently list and have. It's listed there. So go have a look at the PDF. You'll know more.
Just be careful when you go into Nico's private hangar. You can get free access, but the door slams behind you when you get in, and you need a key code to get out.
Yeah, you might be stuck there for a while because of all the information that's there. Uh, Um, Rooster, that software is called Benny Overlay. You need to look for Benny Overlay. That's the one at the top, and the stuff at the bottom comes from Streamlabs OBS. So those are the two things I use over there. At the top, the one with the bar showing you progress and settings, and well, the progress with the flight information. That's Benny Overlay. Yeah, I'm using Streamlabs OBS, and the rest, everything else is basically configured in Streamlabs OBS. You're welcome. Shame. Bob, come back soon. We'll do a Zebo flight afterwards, and then we'll help you again. Don't let it get to you. Yeah, we all want to help. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Krister. Yeah, we're having a nice day today, taking it easy. Dimitri, I have not touched anything in terms of that on this PC. I've never felt the need to set any affinity. It's running pure default at this moment.
One of the things to beware of presently is a lot of the payware aircraft and Zebra are now running code for the extras of each aircraft that runs on course outside X-plane. So the load is now a lot more balanced than it was, say, 12 months ago.
Correct. Correct. Rooster, in YouTube, and yeah, it's actually just in YouTube. I almost made a mistake. No, in YouTube, when you schedule your stream, they give you three options. You can have a very fast interaction with the text, which goes down to about 2 seconds. So 2 seconds from when I say something till you hear it, when I do something and you see it, but it does not save in HD. It only saves in 360p. So the actual stream is HD, but the save is rubbish. All right. Then you've got a middle one that's called low latency. And the low latency one, depending on the ingress server of the day and the internet connection, is anywhere from 3 seconds to 8 seconds. All right, which is the one we are on right now. And then you've got a very high quality option, and that one can take up to 30 seconds before you see and hear what I do. So I prefer the middle one, and that's how I get the response. Yeah, Dimitri, sorry, just coming back to you in that question. I'm not running Process Lasso at this moment. I used to run it on my very old potato PC because that was the only way I could get it to run. And what I did there was I probably used 3/4 of my cores and forced X-Plane to use them. Uh, that's the only way I could get it to work. Um, Good morning, Joseph. and welcome to the stream, buddy. It's nice to see you online here. Christer, thank you. Nice view. We are in Canada. We need to lose a bit of altitude. I'm going to turn into this valley over there with the river, and then we're going to fly back. Bella Coola is now behind us, so I need to just lose a bit of altitude, and then we're going to do a visual um, approach. At Bella Coola, it's been clear the whole day. There were no clouds when we started the flight, so I hope it's still the same. Just to make the landing easier, we might as well start turning now. So it will just be a normal visual approach down the valley onto the runway. I'll check the weather just now again, CYBD. Yeah, there's still no clouds according to active sky, and it's overcast at 4,300 foot, so we should be okay. Once we go below that, it's okay. You're talking about McTrying being the co-pilot. Well, McTrying and Uncle John, who is here on Discord with me, are my co-pilots usually, and then we've got Paul that sometimes also join us. So I've got a couple of co-pilots. Nice guys. Yeah, it's nice for interaction to have it a bit faster, but I don't want it to save it 360p. That's no good. Everybody complained the last time we tried it. That would have been so nice if we had that instant interaction, but not at the cost of that quality. So we need to go down over that river into that valley. Alright, we can switch our oxygen off now. Alright, we have a wind calm situation at Bella Coola, so we can land on any of the runways. And we have a new QNH 2997 now. Where am I going to? Runway. So I'm already thinking about the landing. This aircraft is not the easiest one in X-Plane to land or taxi on the ground. So I hope everything works to our advantage today. The actual altitude here, elevation 117 feet. Right, so we can go down to 5 to actually go.
My Discord keeps dropping out.
Yeah, if you don't speak every 5 minutes, it kicks you, Uncle John. I'm sorry about that. You want to go back to not using push to talk?
No, not on this flight. I might on the next one.
Okay. Krister, thank you very much. The Ian tutorial was one of the nice ones. Yes, it opens up a whole new way of flying for people.
The information was appreciated.
Oh wow, Dimitri, no. Why did the guys give him stick? Did they not behave themselves? Did they treat him badly? What happened? Can you tell us? Good question, Joe. Look, I want to tell you guys something. I have been attacked so many times. Personally, as part of the stuff I do with the Zebo team, as part of everything, I've been attacked so many times. You get the real pieces of work out there, real bad guys. And the funny thing is, they always think they're so cool and great in their own eyes, but yeah, it happens. Trolls are
It's
bad
called
news.
egos. Egos.
Yeah. I have watched the Zebo team get torn apart because of assholes like that. I have watched good guys just say, sorry, thank you, no more, and just walk away. I've personally felt many times, you know what, stuff this, I'm walking away, I don't care. And then it takes me a couple of days, and believe me, it takes me a good couple of days to recover after an idiot came my way. It's not easy for me to shake it. I'm very sensitive to assholes, and it works in on me bad, 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 bad. It takes me a good couple of days to recover from an incident of having to, first of all, defend myself while I don't have to defend myself, and then justify something I said or did or something just because somebody is absolutely just an asshole.
It's at a time like that I remind Nicker that 99.9% of the guys are 100%. You will never stop the 0.1% bad
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I want to tell you something else. I'm not sure how Osama does his giveaways, but if I look at my software here that I'm using to broadcast to you guys, there is a random picker. What else do you call it? It works randomly. We have no control of it. We click a button and the system decides who wins. There is no such thing as Uncle John's my buddy or McTryan gave me $10 last night. Let's give him something back. It doesn't work that way in my software, at least. So, in more probability than not, Osama has got the same setup. All right, which means he literally pressed a button. There's no biased. You can't force. It's like the lottery. I mean, those little balls go into the machine from pressure of air, air pressure that puts them into the place. It doesn't. It's not fixable. You can't mess with certain things in life. And there's the airport already, and we wait. Do I? We'll have to make a plan. Yeah. Krister, I agree with you. I have actually blocked a few people off my YouTube channel. They will never ever, according to my settings, be able to comment ever again on any of my videos because the kind of crap that people have told me, it's actually stuff that you need to take to the cop shop. It's stuff that you need to take further and so on. But I don't have time for rubbish like that. So basically, all I do is I just block them and I report them to Google, and whatever happens from there on, it's up to them. But it's so easy for people to make new profiles. You can't really block all of them all the time, but at least every now and then I do feel better when I do that. Exactly, Krister. Exactly. Right, I'm trying to slow down as much as I can, but I think what I'll do is I'll probably do a left downwind there. We'll cross over the center line, do a left downwind to circle back. And then hopefully we can actually land this aircraft without you guys laughing your ass off at me. I see my trim wheel is not kicked in at all. Damn. Just actually check if it's still in this profile, if it is usable. I'll do that after we land, and then I'll show you guys quickly the X-Organizer thing I promised you.
Have you noticed any differences in the latest X-Organizer?
Yeah, there are a couple. He changed the database structure a little bit, and he also added more categories in the scenery as well as in the plugin pages. I'll show you guys. I'll show you when we get there. Krister, I know you can, but again, the kind of aggravation they cause is also not really necessary to take it that far. It's just, yeah, I think it's easier for me to ignore them. And I must tell you one thing: I get a much better response from ignoring people than I get from wasting time to try and prosecute them in my own little way. It's just people like that like the attention, and once they lose the attention and you don't give them attention anymore, they also stop because there's no point in doing it. So at some point in time, you just have to ignore them. Okay, Auntie, you need to buckle up. Are you? Yeah, you're buckled up. Here we go. So guys, this is Coola. You know what? I hope he sees this, or one of you give him the message. I've tried to reach out to him a couple of times, but he's not really responded to me in the past. You must just chin up, take a couple of days and then come back with a vengeance. Yeah.
Mind you, some people, I mean, the number of people that are actually watching flight simming at the moment on Twitch has dropped drastically. And as a result, some of the streamers that were used to give renowned content don't stream as frequently these days. Life's moved on.
Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. This rudder pedal is very sensitive, and that's what you get when you just move your foot a little bit too fast. Let's see if we can do a good landing for you guys. Come on, come on. That was not as hard as you pretend to be. You really pretended to be much harder. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And we'll use reverse thrusters now. Oh no, this is ridiculous. Let's go around. We shall try again. You guys can see I'm not really that bad. Yeah, Dimitri, no, that was rubbish landing. We're gonna quickly fix it for you guys. Just show you. I actually know what I'm doing with this. I disagree with the bounce that I got there, that first one, because in all honesty, it wasn't that hard. I didn't drop like hard like that, but anyway. The one thing with this aircraft, when you guys fly it, you will see that you either fly or you float or you drop like a rock. It's very difficult to control this aircraft really in terms of speed and stall and all these things. But we're not complaining. We're going to do our best. Yeah, it's very sensitive. Very, very, very sensitive, which is a pity. Um, a couple of updates ago, it was like perfect, and everybody was commenting, wow, this is now sorted. This is the way it should be. And the next moment they brought out an update and all's gone back to pot. Yes. You see there, look, now the ELT goes off and it wasn't really that hard. Well, I hope so. I hope so. The guys really need to look. They brought out an update about 2-3 weeks ago, which made it better, the way you see it now. Um, but I sincerely hope they fix this thing even better. So welcome to Coola. Nobody died, and I'm sorry for some dentures that might have broken, but we all good. We made it.
Don't worry, I'll send you the bill later.
Thank you, Uncle John. I knew I could count on you.
Can I relax the straps of my parachute now?
Yeah, Matron. No, you can really relax now. This is an awesome, awesome, awesome little airport. It's Payware. The link is in the notes below the video if you guys are interested in it. It's awesome. You just have to install the winter textures manually. It doesn't work automatically, so well, tell him he must just do a good job. Then I'm happy. The chiropractor. Well, this is exactly my point, Christer. The aircraft is just oversensitive. So let's get the parking brake on. It's just oversensitive. At least it is usable and we can actually perform the jobs. What I will do in FS economy as such is once I've built up a little bit of cash again, I'll go buy a Cessna 208. I used to have one, sold it to my own detriment. I wanted to actually give up on FS economy. I really didn't want to continue with it anymore. But it happened that I just one day thought, you know what, might as well continue a little bit longer. All right, so I'm going to close down explain, and then I'm going to fire up my X organizer just to show you guys how I manage my explain. So bear with me. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm going to switch to the display capture just now. Just had to wait for explain to die on us there. So display capture, there we go. All right, that looks a little bit better. All right, so hello Ryan, by the way. Um, so the idea about this section of the stream is just to quickly give you guys an overview of X Organizer, how I organize my explain. I got sick and tired of one point in time trying to learn, and then once I learned it, trying to keep, um, the scenery packs I and I in order, because if you put it in the wrong order, the scenery doesn't display, and you've got all kinds of other nonsense to worry about. So I also started by moving things in and out of the explain folder, and I thought, we clever, we can do it that way. Here's a little bit. Next time when I fly, I remove something, and then it became a nightmare. So I spent the $12. I think it's about 12.50 or something for this program on the org store. And so now if I want to enable or disable something, it's as easy as clicking a single button. The moment I click on that level, and you'll see there's multiple levels, different countries and different airports within a country. If you click the higher level, every single airport, add-on airport in Europe is now disabled. So how easy is that? And if you want to enable them again, you can re-enable them. But let's start from the beginning. What this program does is it will automatically sort your scenery, your libraries, and all the add-ons that you have, including your plugins and your aircraft. This is also new, I'm trying the aircraft one. This tab over here. There's also a preferences tab, but I don't use it, so you won't see it right now. So it sorts everything for you. It puts everything in the right order, the way Explain reads it. And if you, all that is required is you need to now physically move an airport into position. So I'm just going to take this top one. Um, what you will typically have is it will be in the bottom here. When you fire up, if you've never used this before, installation, let's just put it there. All right, so what happens is the program will scan your scenery INI, it will scan the database, and it will come back and it will tell you something. For instance, like this one, there's an installation error or there's an empty scenery package. All right, but needless to say, whatever it does and wherever it puts it, all it requires from you is to go and put it into the correct place. Now, a quick Google search for LOWK will tell you what country we're talking about. So if you go back to Europe and Austria, it obviously needs to go into Austria. The moment you put it into the correct folder, the error goes away. The program is intelligent enough to know that there's no more errors. All right. So looking at the actual structure, it starts with Europe, North America, South America, Asia, Oceania, and Africa. I'm not sure why it's not alphabetical, but that's just the way it is. And from the bottom, any of these errors that you get, you need to obviously pay attention. If it's an empty scenery package, delete it, re-download it, reinstall it properly. But management is as easy as just dropping it into place. Now, I want to tell you a little secret here as well. Divieski design airports, at least the ones that I own, do not support Ortho for XP. And the workaround that I found, if I want to use them, is I need to disable the terrain that comes with it. So this is the Seattle terrain. And all I do is I just, there it's enabled, there it's disabled, just tick it. And when I go to Seattle now, I can actually use my orthos. So there's another good reason for using this tool. If you look at some of the add-on airports that I've actually bought, and you go to the default airports, these are the ones that's included by default with X-Plane. I've got an add-on Heathrow, I've got an add-on Nice, I've got an add-on Faro. So it's easy enough to just come in here, you delete them. Not delete them, untick them, just disable them. In other words, so it's better than going and deleting them, because the funny thing with these ones, particularly, is if you run your X-Plane installer and you deleted them out of X-Plane, the moment you run the installer, what's going to happen is it's going to replace them. It's going to put them back in place, because the installer scans your whole entire X-Plane, it sees what's missing, and then it replaces them. So you're always going to chase your tail. So every time after you do an update, you're going to have to delete them. But if you disable them, it's there. The files are scanned. The X-Plane installer does not know you disabled them. So you can just keep them off. Disabled as this. And then the same goes for the demo airports. I've got the Seattle and the Lowy. That's the VSK design now, and that one is from Orbex. So I don't need them anymore, so I just disable them. Again, by just clicking. Furthermore, then you've got all your libraries. Over here, if you group all your libraries together, I had an interesting situation where, while using the SAM seasons, um, the trees became winter trees. So it doesn't matter whether I was in winter or summer, any trees that was associated with the RU scenery library were all winter trees. And it's so easy to just come and disable, all the libraries. Or click at the top, it does all of them. All right, and then you can enable them one by one, or vice versa. You can disable them one by one. And in such a way, I was able to then isolate the RU scenery. That was the problem. I deleted the faulty one, downloaded the new one, put it back in place, and my trees are now summer trees when it's supposed to be, and winter trees when it's supposed to be. So very good tool for troubleshooting, if you want to run a process of elimination. Same goes for orthos. I'm not going to bore you with too much detail on this page. There's much more to talk about. Just give me a second. All right, so in this version of Explain that I've got over here, guys, I've obviously got Ortho for XP, so I can enable or disable them for any area that I want, as you guys can see. Then also the overlays. And again, without having to move things or delete things from the actual Explain folder, all I do, like you saw this morning, I wanted to use the winter textures and they're not compatible with the Ortho for XP. So I just disable the Ortho for XP, including the overlays. And there you go. You're back to standard Explain without any hassle. And later on, when we fly the Zebo, in actual fact, I might as well do it now. We're going to fly in Europe, so I can enable Europe. I can keep the rest off. We don't care for them right now. So it will increase my speed at which Explain loads and reloads when I need to shut down and restart again. The only thing that will most likely happen, especially when you work with your airports, not so much the authors, but your airports, is obviously the Zebo is going to tell you it's discovered new airports and it wants to rebuild the database. So you're going to start it, restart it, kind of a thing. Sorry to hear about your trouble, Ryan. All right, our next section that we're going to look at is just the plugins. It's again, it's the same thing. You can actually switch on and off any and everything that you want to, just by clicking on something. So if I don't want SkyMax to be enabled anymore, I can just click on it and it goes away. Same with Active Sky. For my online flying, this is one that I use quite a bit. I use Swift mainly. One day when Xpilot has sorted all these stories, I might go back to that one because I really like it a lot. And then I've also got the Iveo client in there, and you can only have one client at a time, so it's easy enough to just switch between them, just by clicking a button. And again, this is all. If you look at the categories, and this is user configurable, by the way, um, you can actually create a new top folder or a new subfolder, and you can actually manage it quite nicely by just putting everything in the right place, and then it's easy enough to go find a connector and just switch it on or off. We'll keep Swift on. All right. Same goes for aircraft, on and off as you wish, doesn't matter. And then we get to some more interesting sections. Over here, this is all your sceneries that you have installed. And one of the nice tools that you have is you can look for duplicates. One of the big killers of frame rate, believe me, is when you have duplicate scenery. So if we want to look at only the stuff that is potentially unintended conflicts, the others you can see that have all got green tick marks. We don't care for them. We can actually come and analyze them. So what we see here is there's a potential conflict, but because the one is the city and the one is the airport, and again, yeah, there we've got roads and versus an actual airport, we know it's not a real conflict, so we can rest easy. But I've had it many, many times, especially in the beginning when I started using the utility. I would find I had so many duplicate airports because if you're sitting with 100 or 200 add-on airports or how many you've got, it's not easy to find, to spot with your eye what the duplicate is, but this utility just makes it easy. And it just quickly analyzes it. You click a button and it shows you the duplicates. All right, there's a whole lot more that it can tell us. Uh, I'm just giving you the basics. All right, this is another favorite tool of mine. So a lot of people ask me, especially after that Auto for XP tutorial I did, how do you know what you've done already and what you haven't done? It's very easy. You just come to this page and we quickly enable all of them. There's a lot of information it needs to scan through now. I've got approximately 6 terabytes worth of orthos. Right, we're not going to worry about the overlays. But there you go. There's 3/4 of New Zealand has been done. Most of Southern Africa has been done. We've got lots and lots in South America, North America, and then a whole bunch of them in Europe as well. So it's easy enough to come and see, zoom in, see what you've done, what you haven't done. What you can also then do is, as you put your mouse on each tile, it actually says to you here on the right hand side what the actual tile number is. So it's easy enough to go back to Auto for XP and say, okay, I haven't done those once, let's ID them. So that's 56008, 9 and 10. All right, if you quickly want to complete Denmark, then you just go 57, 8, 9 and 10 and so forth. So this is a very brilliant little tool, and it's not just for the authors. You can actually see a couple more things here. Just want to disable them quickly. All right, there we can also enable our global buildings and objects, and you can see how it's been distributed. And basically, this is all the extended night lights that I've got in there. So you can see which areas are covered with extended night lights, etc., etc. You know, that's just a nice little thing. All right, the scenery versions. I'm having a trouble understanding this. I'm not even going to try and explain this because it doesn't compute in my mind yet, and the same goes for the plugin versions. Um, my perception is that at some point in time, and it's not now, it just doesn't look like it's working properly right now, or I'm doing it incorrectly, is this program will actually go and check whether you've got the latest sceneries or plugins, but it seems it needs a little bit more attention. So there you go. That's a bit of an overview. Now, I suggest if you guys have questions, please ask, because I'm just rambling and I don't know if you guys have a particular or specific question about it. But what I can say lastly is just I highly recommend anybody from beginner to absolute expert to invest in this little program. It just makes life so much easier to categorize, to sort, and to actually use the explain stuff behind the scenes that makes explain tick so much better. McTry?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Are you happy with the program?
more than happy.
All right.
I
Okay.
must admit, I do notice one or two things that changed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. If
looks as if it could be for the better
it
as
is
well.
better. It is better. Okay. Dimitri, yes. Let me just recap on what I said earlier. I'm just going to take something from the bottom now. I don't want to go too far. So basically what's going to happen is you are going to install the program, and it's going to tell you that where can we put this? Let's put somewhere there. Uh, just put something there. So you're going to install it, you're going to run it. It's going to tell you that it wants to scan your explain database. And then what's going to happen is it's going to give you the basic template that you've got at the top. And at the bottom, it's going to give you a whole bunch of errors. All right, and this is where a little bit of Googling might have to come in, or you're going to have to ask somebody like me that's done it before, because it's going to have libraries and sceneries and all kinds of overlays and stuff here at the bottom. All right, everywhere, well, underneath needs attention. All of these things will probably be populated. So the first thing you're going to have to do, and this can take an half an hour or an hour of your time, depending on how much you've got in your explain. You're going to have to ID each one. Make sure, yes, that's a library. Google it if you have to. And then you're going to have to just go and drop it. Drag and drop, put it into library. And then you see the errors are gone. So the aim initially is going to be drag and drop, put everything in its appropriate place so that you end up in a situation where you don't have any more need attention problems. That's the groundwork. Gotcha, Krister. Gotcha. Ryan, I can't spend time on that now. It's off topic. We'll talk about that later. Um, all right, cool. Any other questions, guys? Oh, I want to mention one thing. I don't know if you guys, well, now that I click on it, it's more easy readable. It's got a section for mesh. So if you've got the UHD or the HD mesh, okay, it obviously will go into these sections. Now, there are some airports that require their mesh to be active, otherwise they simply do not work properly. So I have come to learn the hard way, really, that if you buy an airport, I'm just using an example, let's call it airport number ABC in America. And airport ABC has got mesh that it was shipped with. That mesh must not come in here, because effectively, if you are using Ortho for XP, it's going to block that mesh. And typically, your developers create their mesh around, or their airports around the mesh that they supply with. So just be careful that you do not separate an airport from its mesh. All right, the mesh that we are talking about here is the Alt Pilot X, these mega big downloads that you do that are separate in nature, that does not come with the scenery. That messed me around a bit, and I actually thought X Organizer wasn't working, and then I realized it's not that it wasn't working, it's putting it in a mesh, but in the wrong place. And all I do nowadays, I just keep my mesh together with my airports. Um, I'm trying to think of one that I can show you, maybe in Ireland. Maybe in Ireland. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it doesn't speak specifically about mesh, but the same principle goes here. If you look at the Aerosoft Dublin that I bought, it's got volumetric grass, parked cars, streetlights, roads, and scenery. Now, if that piece of the roads scenery goes and sits here at the bottom, I've noticed it doesn't work properly. So I always keep whatever I buy with an airport together with an airport. This is how it works best. But obviously, if you go and you buy, oh, sorry, I think it's free actually. When you get the Alt Pilot UHD mesh and stuff, you go put it at the bottom there. But please be aware, if you create your orthos with mesh, all those things at the bottom become redundant. They're not used anyway. So you either have to create your orthos with that mesh, or without mesh, and let the mesh at the bottom run them. That's fine, Cole. Welcome back. Oh, I didn't know you're a mod for Captain Canada. Fantastic. Welcome. That's nice to know. Okay, Dimitri, the latest version of X Organizer is 2.2.1. Let's go back over. Let's see. I've got Iceland, Ireland, and Italy. I do not know Captain Canada personally, but I have been on his streams. I've watched him. We have not had any interactions yet, but I know of him. Don't worry, Dimitri. Hello, Anthony. A mod is a moderator, Krister. Somebody that keeps the peace. The guy that intervenes and bans the trolls. Things like that. All right. Any other questions on X Organizer, guys? Oh, I want to show you one more thing before I forget. If you go to settings, you can enable the explain preferences. It will go at the top there. I don't use it, but you guys can do that. But what is very important is, if you are visually impaired, kind of like color blindness, kind of, what you can do is you can change the way it displays. Currently, you've got on and off, so you've got green for on and white for off. If I change that, this actually changed to multicolor, so I can have a yellow a green and a red. Just as a matter of interest, guys, for guys that are visually impaired in any way, that struggles to see different colors. Yeah. Right, well, that's about it for me for this stream. Then, if you guys don't have any more questions, and then later on we'll do another stream, and if we can, another one. The next one I want to do is going to be a Zibo flight. So we'll going to fly from Palma de Mallorca to Madrid. And if you guys have got the time, you're welcome to come and join us then again. You're welcome, Krister. Right, McDrawing,
Yes.
I'm going to bid you farewell then. And the guys on stream, we'll talk later.
Okay.
Thank you guys for
That was
dropping by. Sorry, McDrawing.
that was a nice little stream. Thank you, Nico.
Always a pleasure. Let me kill this thing.